Hello and welcome to EduTalk. Well, this is certainly not your regular type of education show. On EduTalk, we make it possible for you to understand everything education in the sector and the trends as well. EduTalk is made possible by the Ministry of Education, also made possible by TTEL, and of course, the Teacher Education Journal. EduTalk is available on this channel, same time, every time, and then also repeat broadcast times are also rolling on your screens as we speak. I am Emefa Apawu and I'm your host for EduTalk, and I must say that you should make sure you spread the word about EduTalk, because on EduTalk everything education is covered. And today I must say is a new season and we're aiming to actually cover a lot of grounds in this particular season, as you've seen happening on this show. And today we are talking about the teacher education reform that is currently underway. My guest today likes to describe himself as a teacher, but we know him as a professor at the university, professor in teaching at the University of Education, Winneba. And of course, he's also a key policy advisor at TTEL, one of our key sponsors. And so this discussion definitely will cover a number of grounds when it comes to teacher education reform. My guest is Professor Eric Daniel Ananga. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we'll get talking shortly after this short break right here on EduTalk. Please do stay with us as we delve into teacher education review. It's also your opportunity to spread the word and gather around as we talk teacher education review. Please do stay. You're welcome back to EduTalk, made possible by Ministry of Education and the Teacher Education Journal. And today we are talking teacher education review. And like I said, my guest is Professor Eric Daniel Ananga, and he's doing us the honors in this edition. Thank you so much once again for joining us on the show. So we understand there's a review ongoing, but before we get into that, I know you've done extensive work when it comes to our curriculum in the country. Tell us a bit about how the process has been, knowing that you were a key player when it comes to our curriculum in the country.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd say the process has been very intensive, interactive, and iterative. And I want to say, for the first time in reforming education curriculum, particularly for the senior high school, we had series of engagements with stakeholders. We engage industry, we engage parents, we engage teachers, head teachers, even students to get their views. And the intention is to really pick up some of the things that we think needs addressing, and then pick that information to work with the team of experts to put a curriculum together. But we engage universities that train teachers as well. Yes.
Well, but it's interesting that for teachers, there's an education reform that's going on, and we're told about the curriculum review, correct?
Yes.
Why is there a need for a curriculum review for our teachers?
Okay. You know, we had discussions about the new senior high school curriculum that has been written and is rolled out. Currently, the teachers in the classroom teaching are having regular CPDs to build their capacity to be able to teach this new senior high school curriculum. Now, what is happening in the senior high school classrooms and the teachers who are teaching there, our universities are also training future senior high school teachers. So it is very important that our universities start preparing these future senior high school teachers to understand the principles of what is going on in the secondary school classroom with regards to the new curriculum. So like somebody will say, what is done below should be done above, or what is done above should be done below. So that there is that kind of synergy and connection between what you are preparing to become and what you will be doing when you become.
So what key areas would you say are up for this particular review?
In terms of the teacher education curriculum review, we try to align it with the new senior high school curriculum. So areas like the content of the teacher preparation curriculum, the pedagogy of the teacher education curriculum, and then the assessment, as well as the practical exposure that will be given teachers. The senior high school curriculum has been revised with changes in content, pedagogy, assessment.
Yeah.
The same is what we are doing at the university level, so that by the time a student teacher or somebody who enters our university is graduating to come out, is fully aware of what is happening in the classroom and can fit to teach effectively.
Okay. Well, this is an area that we've been talking about for a while, but I'm sure that another show will get to delve deeper into that. But the issue about aligning teacher preparation as well as national teacher education policies,
Good.
how are we hoping, or why is it so important for the universities to align in that regard?
Okay, so the national teacher education policies, for now, we will talk about the teacher standards.
Okay.
And the standards spell out expectations that every teacher should meet. I mean, the minimum requirement to be regarded as a full engaging teacher. And then also the National Teacher Education Curriculum Framework is another policy that is guiding teacher preparation, and then National Teacher Education Assessment Policy.
Okay.
Now, these three documents together play a critical role in how universities craft their curriculum and prepare teachers.
Okay.
So it is important that all the universities in Ghana who prepare teachers come together to prepare a team of teachers to meet one set of standards that would be going out to the market or to be entering our classroom to teach our senior high school graduates. So just like in other professions, there are standards that every professional must meet. So the universities that train these professionals have to or do prepare their curricula to ensure that the graduates coming out from their institutions in these professions meet a kind of uniform standards.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, but the preparation of these SHS teachers by the universities is also a concern as to whether they are fully responsive to the requirement of this new curriculum that we talk about. You are there. How exactly is that panning out, you would say?
Okay, so what we're trying to do is that the universities themselves, that is the faculty who train senior high school teachers, need to understand the senior high school curriculum very well.
Okay. But you get the sense that that's what is happening?
That is beginning to happen.
Okay.
In fact, there are preparations and engagements with the universities, most of them talking about, look, we need to change the way we've been doing things, and we need to build our own capacity to meet these new demands that the secondary school curriculum is bringing out, to be able to train our teachers to fit into what is expected of them in the future. For example, the senior high school curriculum requires that teachers don't just go and give notes to the students and dictate notes to the students.
Yeah.
Now, if the senior high school teacher is not expected to go and give notes to senior high school students, it means that in the preparation of the senior high school teacher, that teacher in training should not also just be giving notes.
Okay.
So you should learn how to go
okay.
and deliver on the ground.
Okay.
What you are given is what you can give. So if we don't really ensure that the teacher preparation prepares them to do exactly or close to what they are doing in the classroom, we will be having some gaps. So the universities are ready and they've started engaging with themselves in faculties and departments to prepare and build their capacity so that they can really do what is expected to go and enact in their classrooms, I mean, in the lecture halls.
Well, you've taken me to the issue about the gaps, because I'm hoping that we'll be as frank as possible when it comes to this. We've talked about the content, the pedagogy, and the assessment, which is what you're looking at. But really, there's the issue about the gap in the system that you've talked about in terms of the impacting of the knowledge, which is just dictation of the notes amongst others. Well, it's something I would want you to chew on, because you've talked about one gap. We would want to look at the other gaps that you've identified that we have to talk about. So you ponder on that whilst we take a quick break here on EduTalk, made possible by the Ministry of Education, the Teacher Education Journal, right here on this channel. We're right back after the break. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. So we're talking about the gaps that have been identified in the system when it comes to the review that is currently ongoing. So I was asking, since you've talked about one already, which is the issue about the learning, just dictation of notes amongst others, what else are the other gaps that you may have identified that needs working on?
Okay, thank you. We can look at the gaps from three perspectives or three categories, very similar to what we found in the review of the secondary school curriculum. Okay. We look at the gaps in terms of the interaction in the classroom, the teaching and learning, the pedagogy, the content, and the assessment. Now, when you go to our universities, when you come to teacher preparation, largely we tend to give a lot of information to the teacher in training with not much exposure to the practice.
Okay.
That is one. Two, even in giving knowledge to the teacher, how we give the knowledge to the teacher, we go to lecture hall, we project PowerPoints, or you give handouts, and then you read the handouts and explain to the student teachers. Now, that's another gap that will not prepare him or her effectively to teach at the secondary school level. The third one is assessment. We do mid-semester and end-of-semester examination to assess students.
Also go through that?
Yes.
Okay.
So in the university, we do mid-semester, which takes a percentage, and end-of-semester exam, which take a percentage. Now, these examinations or assessments are usually around tests, quizzes, and then paper, pencil assessments. Now, what the senior high school curriculum requires is that the senior high school teacher need to really give authentic assessment to the senior high school student. Give them practical work and things they can do to apply what they know and what they understand from the lessons that you've taught. So in the same way, the universities need to do that. And for now, I wouldn't say that is being done intentionally. There might be reasons for that, but this is another gap that we have identified and needs looking at. And then I talked about three. The fourth one is the practical aspect. Teaching is a very practical activity. And it is important that right from the word go, the student teacher get to experience the practice of what he or she will be doing, either directly or indirectly. That hasn't been happening so much. In the current teacher preparation programs, we do have some amount of what we call on-campus teaching practice or micro-teaching, and then at a certain point, usually getting to the final year, they go to the schools and do practice teaching and come back. Now, that we found some gaps in, and we're working around in the new curriculum, right from level 100, the student teachers can visit schools to really observe the school environment and the climate. They can watch videos in their lessons of what is happening in a secondary school classroom, so that the lecturers or the professors who are preparing them can show them, this can be viewed together, that, okay, this is the good, this is not too, and if you encounter this kind of situation in the classroom, this is how you address it. So that way, we be able to really give the student hands-on training right from the beginning. So we have issues of how the content is delivered, issues around the assessment, issues around the practice.
Okay.
And even also the content itself. In some of the subjects, the content is overloaded, which is another gap we identified, that there's a need to tone down the amount of information you are giving students.
Information overload. But I would also want to find out about the inclusion of digital pedagogy, for instance, and the emerging trends in technology. Are we getting there? There's AI that is taking over amongst others. Do you get a sense that we are actually incorporating these as well?
Thank you. Exactly. In the curriculum that the universities have produced, which they are going to use to train secondary school teachers, there are areas that touch on using educational technology, using AI, and all the new and emerging technologies to teach. Again, that requires that the university faculty themselves build their capacity to be able to do that, because you can't give what you don't have. If you are not abreast with what AI is and how it is being used, and your students are ahead of that, it's going to create a challenge. Ahead of you in that is going to create a challenge. There are instances where some people cannot handle computers at all. We've been using this term in Ghana, BBC, born before computers. So if the person has that's a teacher trainer at the university level, is not upgrading himself or herself in the new technologies that are emerging and shaping education, that's going to create a challenge in the classroom. So the teacher training curriculum that has been done for secondary school teacher preparation has taken care of that. And there are discussions ongoing within the universities to build capacity of faculty members to be able to learn how to do this. Now we are in the age of lifelong learning more. You can't learn everything in the classroom and you are done. You need to be learning continuously. So faculty members are encouraged to embark on continuous professional development and lifelong learning so that they can build their capacity to meet the challenges that are emerging in the classroom. It will interest you to know that a faculty member or a professor might enter a class where most of the student teachers are way ahead of him or her.
Okay, because they're reading a lot.
Because they are reading and they have these devices, tablets in their hand, and they are moving very fast. Now that requires that
the trends.
That requires that you, the teacher, the person preparing the teacher, you need to catch up with this new trend. So that is another area that the new teacher training curriculum is emphasizing.
Okay. Does it also have the inclusion of local content, for instance, language, the issues also about equity and inclusion amongst others? Are we mindful of that as well?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
In fact, on the language, all the programs that the universities have submitted, the teacher training programs that the universities run on specialization. So we have the subject specialization. You have those doing be English, maths, science, chemistry, physics, biology, Ghanaian language, and all those. They're also taking general education courses in pedagogy. Okay. And one of the key things that they are taking in the pedagogy course is Universal Design for Learning, UDL. Now with UDL, you prepare to meet the diverse needs of learners in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
As a teacher trainer.
Okay.
So you are not going to the classroom and homogenize the classroom or see everybody as they are one, but you know that there are those who learn through listening, others visual, others touch and doing activities. So you prepare the lecture or the class you are going to deliver around that.
I see.
Also, the issue of gender, the curriculum throughout all the subjects emphasize GESI, gender equality and social inclusion. They also emphasized socio-emotional learning. So these are cross-cutting themes within every subject in the curriculum to ensure that our teachers are prepared to be able to meet the emerging challenges in the classroom. Now, the content also, if you take economics or geography, the senior high school curriculum has been more contextualized. So the examples in the curriculum draws on what is in the Ghanaian context, what is in African context before we go global, international. The same is done for the teacher training curriculum. In fact, in the teacher training curricula that the universities are delivering, there is a course that every lecturer or professor has to teach to the student teacher on the senior high school curriculum. Okay. So if you are teaching BA geography at the university level, at a certain point in the 4-year teacher training, there is a course on SHS geography curriculum.
Oh, okay.
So you get to see in the preparation what is in the SHS curriculum. So if you find examples drawing on our local markets in economics and the examples to explain inflation, demand and supply in secondary school curriculum, referring to what is happening in our markets locally, even the local community markets, the universities also carry that on board and make sure that they prepare the teachers in training to see, appreciate, and know how to deliver or teach to meet those requirements.
Okay, so more often than not, the concern amongst at least those in the rural community is the issue about the fact that teaching and learning in the English language, which is supposed to be the first language, sometimes there is a difficulty. I'm still dwelling on the issue about language. Are we getting to a point where teaching and learning will be done, at least? For instance, if I'm from Anfuega and you have to teach indigens from that area, for instance, are we getting to a point where they will be teaching in Vedome and for them to understand economics and geography, amongst others? Are we getting to that point? Where exactly are we when it comes to interacting or making it easy for indigens to be able to understand what we are teaching?
You know, this is a difficult and a complex one. I'll try to touch on it. You're right. At the foundational levels, that is KG to P3, the policy requires that teachers teach in the local language.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that happening?
To some extent, yes, and to some extent, not, because there are other complexities surrounding that. And let me touch on that and then come to the secondary school level and then you see. When people, our youth, enroll in teacher training, they come from different ethnic backgrounds and speak different Ghanaian languages. So I come from Peki and I'm speaking Ewe in secondary school, primary school, JHS, secondary school. Now I go to university to train as a teacher at the early grade level, JHS or secondary school level. Now I'm training to teach agric science. Now, I'm not trained to teach agric science in Ewe, in Ewe language at the JHS or SHS level. But at the KG 1 to 3 level, yes, the teachers are trained to do that. But when you come to postings, now, I wouldn't be posted usually to Peki.
Okay.
I may be posted to Ekropong or to Suhum. So the challenge of...
But shouldn't we get to that point where you know that you're training this person in Ewe, so you should be able to deploy them to Ewe-speaking areas so they can make it easy for indigens to understand what is being taught?
I think we are getting to that point. That conversation is going on now. And I'm aware there's a team. We've been working on that way back in 2015, 16, 17 on the language policy to show how this should happen. It has implications for how you enroll students in teacher training and how you deploy them. So you come to secondary school level, You see that
it becomes different.
It becomes a different.
I understand. I'm sure that we will definitely have you back on the show again. But as we wrap up a rather short conversation, I'm so surprised where the time went. But looking ahead, 5 to 10 years from now, what would be the ideal profile of an SHS teacher as you're looking at it? I'm sure you're looking into the crystal ball. What are you looking at?
Thank you. In the conversations that we've been having with students, with teachers, that's secondary school teachers, parents, industry, university faculty, teacher unions, and all the stakeholders.
They are involved.
Yes, they are involved extensively. Okay. All the stakeholders we've engaged. We are looking at a very competent teacher who is constantly learning to adapt to the new changes that are emerging. A teacher who is tech savvy to be able to employ both face-to-face and virtual learning and the new technologies in the classroom. Because where we are going, we are moving very fast. And we anticipate training a teacher who can fit into this fast-paced environment we find ourselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Prof, thank you so much. It's always not easy interviewing a professor, but you made it very easy. You've been kind. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. That's Professor Eric Daniel Ananga, our guest for today. We've been talking about the teacher education reform, and it continues. So definitely, we'll catch up with you again in the course of the season to understand where we are when it comes to the teacher education reform. That's another edition of EduTalk. Like I said, EduTalk is not your regular kind of education show. We make it easy for you to understand everything education and the trends in the sector. Another edition will come your way same time on this channel. I am Emefa Apawu, and this has been EduTalk, made possible by Ministry of Education and the Teacher Education Journal. Have a good day.